Hello and welcome back to Talkin Pitch Side. I'm your host PJ with my co-host Tony, and we've made it. It is the weekend. We are here. It is the MLS preview. MLS is back. I said it last episode, but I'm saying it again because it's well and truly back now. If you're listening to this in your cubicle on Friday afternoon, just hoping for someone to pick your team to win, you're in the right spot because we are here to do the MLS preview of all of the games this week. And Tony, we've got games to talk about. We got matchups. We got nothing to base it off of. This is the most out of right field predictions ever is week one, but we've got predictions to do, and I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, I mean I'm rusty. I don't know how to predict a game anymore. Like what are we talking about right now? No, it's really exciting, and I think we were just talking right before this. Picking a sicko game of the week. And the nice thing about week one is there's some fresh optimism just about everybody. There's new looks for everybody. New players, new coaches, new play styles, all of the above. That makes it one, really impossible to even throw any prediction out there, but two, really intriguing to you want to watch and consume everything. And so, unfortunately for us, it's going to be probably after the fact for most of it. But I'm just so excited to get back into it. It's good to be back in the saddle. We've had our good little winter break, and now it's time to get on the grind again.
Yeah, we are doing these episodes on Monday. So if you're listening to this, we are recording this on Monday. So if there are some injuries or some news that pop up in between now and the game on Saturday and Sunday, we apologize. We are going to London on Thursday, so bear with us. We will have plenty of social posts of us probably watching our team at 1 a.m. in London, just trying to figure out if we won the game. So we will be there with you as sickos in abroad, internationally, being sickos. And I think that's the most sicko thing we could do
Yeah,
is
exactly.
watching.
Yeah.
It has to have the Apple app up in our little hostel, just watching and cheering together. So that's what we'll be doing. But let's get into it, Tony. We got a lot of games to go through here, and oh gosh, I'm getting excited. I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, oh, I've got a full slate of games to talk about, and I think we start in chronological order. We'll go St. Louis at home versus Charlotte. This is a game that if you're Charlotte, the expectations to win this game. We talked about last episode. St. Louis expectations are really low. We have no idea what they're going to be. Week one is the outlier though, and we see it every year. I mean, picking teams week one in the MLS is like throwing a dart at a dartboard with your eyes closed, and you just don't know where it's going. You're just kind of guessing, and this is the week where a St. Louis team can catch a Charlotte team off guard, especially at home. I think Charlotte's going to win this game. I'm not going to pick against them. I think they're talented enough to get it done, especially with that defensive structure. And I think they win this one. I think it's a close game in a 2-1 fashion. And I think you see Toklamani get off to a hot start for Charlotte this year.
That'd be good. They would need that. St. Louis has played Charlotte once, and they won. So basically, the city of St. Louis owns Charlotte. They have never lost.
Wow.
Here's where I'm struggling is as we're a home league. It's been a while since I've said that. Man, it feels good to come out again, man.
There were times it didn't work last year,
Oh,
too.
yeah, we are Homer League, but I'll just drop this little factoid in for you. We clocked in at the end of last season. 45% of games ended with the home team winning. So that's pretty
significant
significant.
rate.
That's
Yeah.
pretty significant. And then 25% were ties. The other
How many of
30%
those
were the winning team.
were St. Louis last year?
Yeah, or this year, maybe not that many. So maybe not that many. But that's what I'm kind of flirting with. But I think I got to stick with my heart here. It's week one. It's all vibes. It's no data. Charlotte's a better team than St. Louis. I'd expect that to be the case come Saturday.
Yeah, without a doubt. Okay, next game we have in chronological order is Cincinnati at home versus Atlanta. One of the more interesting games of the week. We talked about Atlanta. I have them more optimistically bouncing back. You still have them bouncing back to a degree from where they were last year. The expectation of the Cincinnati team is put up or shut up time in terms of competing for a trophy or something. And I think they've got to make a statement early. I mean, you know me. I've never ever picked against my team in predictions, so I'm going to pick Cincinnati. I actually think they win this one fairly easy. I My only concern is we still don't have Matt Miazga back. Like that is still up in the air. He never played in the preseason, so I think you don't know who's going to be that back three. I think it's going to probably be Robinson, Teenage, and Nick to start the year.
Mhm.
And I don't know, is Ramirez playing left back? He hasn't played in the preseason much either, and I think that has to do
Yeah,
with
I don't.
visa stuff.
Okay,
So
then I don't
it'll be
know.
interesting to see if he's ready. But I think talent wise, I mean Cincinnati's just going to be better. I think Tata and Atlanta will get better throughout the year. I think it's going to be a slow drip type of change. But once again, it's week one, and I'm gonna go with Cincinnati because that's my team, and they're at home especially, and that's usually a fortress for this team. So I'm hoping they get off to a hot start and they're able to win this one fairly easy. I have it in like a 2-0 fashion. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's going to be fairly close.
See, I think this is a tough poll for Cincinnati, honestly, to have Atlanta as week one with the unknown of, I mean, unknown but known of what Tata Martina is going to do as this team. Uh, that's the part where it's like, how do you game plan for this? And,
Yeah.
obviously week one, you're focused more about like who you are and what your setup is, and we'll
Hmm.
get to see, I guess, what tweaks FC Cincinnati's putting forward offensively. I think that's going to be what everybody's got their eyes on in this one, and what better defense to try that against than Atlanta's? Because if one thing didn't change, it's how they're set up. So I think that in my mind, if we do see Atlanta get tighter on defense, that's at the cost of some attacking, power, which they've already been lacking. But if they're going to protect themselves some, if they're going to bunker down, then they're really not going to be much of a threat going forward. So I do see this game as something like that. I think Cincinnati's going to win possession, and I'd say probably by a hefty amount. But then after that, I'm not sure I can put a score on this. I'm going to say win. I'm going to say win. I wanted to say draw, but I'll say win. I've seen Alvis Powell just punt the ball into the net against Atlanta at home last time, which was also a day game.
Oh,
There's just too many similarities, but no, we're sticking with it. FC Cincinnati win, low score game
love it,
though.
love it. Next here is 7:30 schedule starting. We've got DC at home versus Philadelphia, the Ty Baribo revenge game. Really early, really early. They shipped him
Off the
off,
gates, yeah.
and he's already playing against them. So it'll be an interesting test for this DC team at home to kind of get an early battle with a Philly team who won the Shield last year. Of course, me and you aren't very high on them this year, which means they'll probably win this game for nothing. But I actually think this game's gonna be really competitive. I think DC is gonna come out the gates playing like a better squad, and I think they'd be more defensively structured than they were in years past. I have this one as a draw. I don't have DC winning this game, but I do have this one as a 1-1 final, and DC starts the year off with a point.
Let me ask you something here.
Oh
A-
God.
Aggregate this matchup, last three games. What do you think it is?
Oh, it's been horrible. I know it's been horrible. I can remember Tyree Bro, I'm pretty sure, had a hat trick against DC early
In
last
one
year.
of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Can I guess? Is it 14
it is
to like
14. It's
zero?
14 nothing is the aggregate the last three games. So 6 nothing, 3 nothing, and then 4
Yeah.
nothing.
I remember some significant ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean it's bad. Now, the teams are both in pretty different states, right? Uh I just can't shake the fact that just Philly owns DC, and I think that's a systemic thing. I think that's a build out thing. You know what I mean? Like that's DC not being good at what they do, but that's also Philly pressing high and just accentuating like big mistakes. So I think that that's still going to take advantage here. I don't think it's going to be a runaway like what we've seen these last few years, but I think Philly is going to end up taking this one. So I'll give it a 2-1 for Philly here.
Yeah. I mean that game alone might have been why DC bought Ty Brebo this offseason. Was watching him
They
just
said,
torment them.
if we can't beat
Yeah.
them, join them. Just come over here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, continuing on here in the 7:30 window, we've got Orlando at home versus New York. One of the better games this week. I think these two teams are going to be solid. I'm not as high on Red Bulls as you are, but they still have a solid team. I'm interested to see how Cade Cowell mixes into this team. He, of course, was good at the end of his time with San Jose and went to Liga MX. Had some moments, but is now coming back. And honestly the biggest part of this game. I'm most excited to watch is his return to the MLS and how dynamic that makes that offense look. Because we begged and begged and begged for wingers that could move the ball upfield, and that is exactly what Cade Cowell is. And I want to see if Forsberg is up for distributing to that, and what that could look like. So I I don't know if that's going to result in a win for New
Yeah.
York, especially on the road to start the year. I think Orlando wins this one 2-1. I think you're going to see some flashes from both teams. I think it's going to be very competitive. And I can already envision an Ojeda brace to start the year, and
Mm.
as he puts his stamp on the season. So I think Orlando's gonna start the year off with a win at home.
I'm leaning a little bit towards Red Bulls, but I think I'm going to end up landing in the middle of draw. Only thing certain I know about this game is I feel like we're going to get a lot of goals here. I just think that both teams got worse in the back and in Red Bull's case, better in the front. This is I should have mentioned this at the top. This is the Carlos Coronel Bowl, right? That's what we're going to call this
Oh
one.
gosh.
Short-lived, but true. So I don't know. We'll see. I agree with you. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch Red Bull specifically, just in the new Michael Bradley era situation. But that being said, like Orlando in the back, you've got a U22 Brazilian at center back that you just signed in Iago. Ideally, you'd have Robin Janssen, but he had a serious injury late last year, so he's out right now. So just a lot of unknown in your core and your spine. And then, so all that to say, like if Red Bulls is running at you, I do trust Forsberg to be able to identify like a weak spot and push the ball through and find Choupo-Moting or find Cowell, whoever. I just think that's why I was leaning Red Bulls here, but I can't pick away teams too much here, so I'm going to go draw.
Nice. I understand it. I think this week one is so hard. It really is just hard. Like you don't
Yeah,
know who's really playing either. Like
right.
there's injuries that pop up that we didn't even know about because we don't follow every team as intensely as we do with our own team. So you don't know who's really hurt, who's not going to play week one. Is they're going to keep played safe? Which young guys are getting a chance early on in the season? Like I remember the Jane Nelson game early on last year for
Yeah.
Vancouver and what that was like. No one expected that. So I think it'll be fun to watch who that next young star is that makes that jump early on in the season. We have now Vancouver, speaking of Jane Nelson, at home versus RSL. I am high on RSL. I'm not high on them this week. I think Vancouver at home was a machine last year. I mean, you went to Vancouver and you lost. That is just what happened. You went to Vancouver, you lost, you complained about their field to the
There
media,
it is. Yep.
and then went home. And that will probably be the case again. I think Diego Luna might be doing the same thing. Only thing I'm looking out for this one is for Diego Luna not to hurt his knee on the turf. So just keep him away from this field and keep this man alive for the World Cup is my biggest concern. That being said, I'm picking Vancouver 3-1 at home.
Yeah, I think this one's kind of sizable gap between Vancouver and RSL right now, so I'm right there with you. One interesting note, though, I didn't realize this on the series. These teams have played 35 times, and they're split right down the middle. 15 wins for each and 5 draws. So that's a little something. Someone's going to win. It's probably not going to be a tie. But no, I like Vancouver a lot here. Quick side note, I don't know, did you see the Diego Luna commercial, the broken nose commercial?
Yes, I did. It's a great
It's a
commercial.
great
It's a
commercial.
great commercial. This guy's
So
making the World Cup. That's
this
all I
guy's
got from
making the
that
World
commercial.
Cup. He's in the commercials, and that's the analysis I have for this game. Watch that commercial.
But like we said, people be gentle with us. There's not a lot to go off of right now.
Right? What do you want
They
me
don't
to
even
tell you? Yeah.
broadcast preseason games anymore. Like it is all really just trusting reporters and what we're hearing off of social media these days,
Mm-hmm.
which is about 40% AI. So you never really know what's going on out there.
At least.
Yeah. Moving on to the 8:30 window, we've got a lot of late games this week. Not many in the 7:30 window. We've got Austin at home versus Minnesota. we've talked about it in the last episode. I couldn't be more down on Minnesota and what they're doing right now. And I think the only thing you're looking at for this is Rodriguez. How is playing this game? Do we know for a fact or
I
not?
think he's there. I would assume he's playing.
I mean, that alone is going to make this a must watch game. And for me, a must watch highlight watch afterwards just to see what his first game looks like and what he brings to this team. I am going to go Austin at home because I'm just going to, with these two teams specifically, just trust the home team in this scenario, especially with how down I am with Minnesota. I'm it's a new coach, new system. That's going to take time. At least with Austin, there's some familiarity there, and these guys know how to play in this system. And you're at home with the environment around you. I think they get it done. I don't think it's going to be like a blowout. I think you could see even a 1-0 win in this one.
It's going to be low scoring, in my opinion. I think that is true. If, like said last episode, I don't think that Minnesota is going to be that 35% possession team anymore, but I still think they're going to be like 40, 45%. They're going to sit back a little bit, not totally park the bus, but if there's anything about this Austin team I'm a little bit worried about is breaking down a low block, at least at this point in time. They have runners at wings now, which is different. But I mean that Jaden Nelson's about getting in behind, and if there's no behind to get into, I feel like that kind of neutralizes his threat a good amount. Facundo Torres, I think that he can make space for his shot, but I'm not sure that Minnesota is really gonna facilitate that super well if they bunker somewhat relatively similar. So for all of that, I kind of think I want to land it on a draw for this one. I just don't see where Minnesota's goals are coming the other direction either. Like I said, at this moment, I rate Austin's defense. I don't think they're the easiest to crack, and I think Minnesota's offense just has a ways to go at the moment. And even with James, kind of to your point, like it takes time to build in the new things. MLS is a very different league. It's very rare that even with the Stars that you see someone just jump in game one like that and start lighting it up. So I think that it's probably a draw. I wouldn't be surprised with 0-0 here.
Yeah, I think I could see a Facundo Torres moment to re-announce himself into the
That would be
MLS
pretty epic.
and
I'll give it
like a
that.
free
Yeah.
kick or something. I mean, that is what is he also does that well. Like they got a set piece guy with this signing as well. So and if you whether it's distributing, like he has a good cross in off the set piece as well for a guy like Vasquez when he is back and playing as well. So I think it'll be something to watch and it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. Continuing an 8:30 window, we've got Dallas at home versus Toronto. New look Toronto side to a degree. Of course, they still don't have that DP number 9 that everyone's waiting for. I think that is going to play into what I think is going to happen in this game, which is a very low scoring game. And if you think I'm picking against a draw in Toronto's
Mm.
first game of
Oh my
2026, you're a
gosh.
crazy
Yeah, that'd be
person.
foolish.
I I'm going 1-1. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think you could see Petr Musa get on the score sheet early in this one, and then I think you could see um, Mihailovic get a PK or something in this scenario where it just ends up as a 1-1. You're like, yep, that's exactly what we expected from Toronto and Dallas in their first game of the season.
Yeah, I think that's a smart pick. I do think that this is going to sound a little crazy. I think I rate Toronto enough for a road win here. Um, Dallas, Dallas is going to be Dallas. I
Is the
just
stadium open?
well they've like I
Do
mean no
we have more fans this year?
no well you might see more because I thought they were like doing like a 3 year like phased approach. So
Oh,
like they work on one side and then you're going to do the other, but
oh,
I mean,
sorry to cut you
hopefully.
off. I just got
No,
really
no, no.
excited
That's a
about the
great point. I
idea.
didn't even think about that though. Hopefully, it's like the side the camera sees where all the fans are now, and then like
It
on
was
the other side.
depressing watching them late at
Oh
night
my
sometimes
gosh, it
last
just
year.
feels dead there. But anyways, I think I rate Toronto here. I think that again, you talk about like moments being made. Musa's got that in his bag, but so does Mihailovic. So I kind of like leaning on Toronto a little bit here on the road to open up the season.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad shout. I think we both have a lot of questions about Dallas and the chance creation. I think just saying Peter Musa is going to do it is not good enough, and it'll be interesting to see how they start the year with the lack of creativity behind them. Moving on to Houston at home versus the Chicago Fire. One of the more, I think, intriguing matchups for myself personally, because I think both these teams I'm fairly high on, and from where they have been in the past couple of years going into the season. Um, I think they both need to start the year off well to get the fan base around them. I think I'm really excited about this Houston project. I think they're doing a lot of things right in terms of how they're building this team right now. And with them being at home, right? They're the home team. Let me just double check that
Yep.
really quick.
Yep.
Them being at home, I'm leaning Houston in this game. No, I'm not. I'm going draw.
Oh,
I'm sticking to draw.
wow.
Chicago's attack is legit. Like they have a lot of talent in that attack, and if it all clicks, like it could be really talented. And I think Houston, I'm still waiting to see how Bogusz mixes in with his squad and how he can elevate everyone else around him. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 2-2 in this game. I
Okay.
think it could get
Yeah.
some goals. I think it could get a little freaky later in the night and how this one plays out. I think this is like the number one game for me. There, it's like there's gonna be some like counterattack goal that someone dribbles like 80 yards and
Hmm.
ends up scoring, and it's gonna be like, oh, what a goal, and then
Yeah.
they're gonna allow a kickoff goal right after.
That
And that's just
someone is going to be Andrew Gutman, by the way. That's just so
FC
you know.
Cincinnati legend Andrew Goodman,
There
by
you
the
go.
way.
Exactly. Um, I I agree with you. I think this is going to be high scoring. I think that this is going to be Houston's game to lose. I really believe that, and I was kind of joking about Andrew Gutman, but also like not. Um, like the Berhalter way with the Fire was just send those outside backs up and just bomb up. Well, immediately in my brain, I think, okay, well, what's Houston doing to counter? And well, now their answer is Matty Bogusz on one side, and then Guilherme, their new Brazilian U22 on the other. Or sorry, no, he's a DP, so their new
Mm-hmm.
DP on the other. Um, that's a lot of space to. I mean, I don't know exactly how Chicago's going to handle that. Maybe they change it, but that's a lot of space for your brand new two DPs to go eat up. So I like that a lot for Houston, and especially Matty Bogu just being the MLS known quantity that he is. So I like that. I do have worries about this Houston defense in goalkeeping situation, but that's kind of why I'm saying I think there's going to be high goals. But I think this is going to be Houston at home, kind of a little bit redefined. A lot of people back at it. Jack McGlynn back at it. So I like goals for Houston in this one. I think there's space for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a really fun game to watch. It would have been on my docket if we were back home for sure in that 8:30 window. Continuing here, we've got Nashville at home versus New England. I don't think I'm going to talk about this one that much. I think Nashville is going to come out flying this year. I think they are going to get to the perfect opponent defensively to have this trident attack just go after, and I think this one can get pretty ugly. I think Nashville is going to win this one, maybe even like 3-0.
Are we on touchdown watch? Is that
No, no, let's not get that
week
disrespectful. Come
one?
on, come
Week one,
on.
they're dropping a touchdown on Matt Turner.
York's not going to let that happen. He'll go back and play
Christian
defense if he has to.
Espinoza hat trick of assists.
This would be like a classic San Jose moment to be like to
Oh,
watch Chris Espinosa get like a hat
just
trick in his
ball.
first game, and everyone's just gonna crap on San Jose, and
Yeah,
it's gonna be all negative for them, which I feel
that'd be
bad.
tragic. I'd hope for their sake that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
That could be so sad. No, I mean I'm right there with you. I think this is an easy game to pick, just with where these two teams are at and where their roster builds are at. New coach though, you never know with Mitrovic, but yeah, I think you got to stick to what you know. Nashville at home, that should be something we lean on a lot this year.
for sure. Another. Oh no, we're now into the 9:30 game. So there's one 9:30 game, and that's LAFC at home versus Inter Miami. I think this is the national broadcast game on
Yeah, the
Fox. I think.
Walmart Super Showdown,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's
Yeah,
something. Great week one matchup. I love that they're doing this. They need to highlight the best matchups of the week, and I think that's the emphasis on Sunday Night Soccer this year. Is what it sounds like. Is like they're really trying to do that. I know this isn't Sunday Night Soccer, but they're trying to do one game a week where it's like let's build this up and hype it up. no Messi in this one, seems like, from what we know here on Monday as we're recording this. So that will be a blow to Miami. With that alone, I'm going to lean towards LAFC. I
Mm,
think the dynamic of Miami bidding on or trying to bid on Buanga is going to be funny in this, and
yeah,
especially if he plays well. So that'll be interesting to watch. But I think this is going to be LAFC in a close game. I think it's going to come down to like maybe a goal in the last like 10, 15 minutes, even with Messi not playing. And it will be really interesting to watch this Miami depth. I think this is going to be the big thing. People want to see how they all work together now. Defense is better, which is
yeah,
sad because that's the only hole you could poke in that team really last year was the defense wasn't great at times, and Mikael comes in and is going to shore that up. So I'm going to go LAC 2-1. I think it's going to take time for this Miami squad to really gel with all these new faces in here, and with especially not Messi being the orchestrator in the middle.
yeah. To me, this has got like 3-3 written all over it. Like I could feel just an
Whoa.
intense draw. Yeah,
The
on this.
league would love that, by the
Oh
way.
yeah,
This
I
being a
know, but
national
just
broadcast
yeah, the
game.
thing, national broadcast under the lights, all the stars. This thing's on steroids. It could just go completely bonkers. I do think I'll go draw. I don't think I can pick. I mean, this is just such a great opening game for the showdown. It's really awesome. But I feel like I can't pick against Miami just out the gate like this. And then I also feel like I can't pick against LAFC at home as well. So that's where I'm kind of like, well, I guess I have to land at a draw here, but we'll make it fun. We'll make it entertaining. And to your point though about like kind of the platform that the league is building with, the showcase like this, I agree. Like I think that what we really need is better access to our games. And, what Sunday Night Soccer and what the Walmart Super Saturday Great Value presented by Lowe's Showdown is going to be is like more of that, which I think is good. Just because, like, I think people tend to gravitate to the stories, gravitate to the stars. I think we're kind of
Yeah,
like entering our NBA era where we're really
it'd be a good
focusing on
problem.
promoting our stars is what we're trying to really do. I think soccer is similar to NBA, and kind of like you can really see people express themselves when they play their game. You can I'm like there's no helmets or weird uniforms. Like you can just see who people are. You can see emotions like way easier than any other sport. So to have that the extra camera to catch that funny angle or that different that crunching tackle or whatever that is, like I think that goes a long way. I hope that that's what the emphasis is on this. And yeah, it's a fantastic game to just open the season up with that and set a precedent with what that Saturday night slot is going to be. So that's fun.
Yeah. Also remember the MLS is just with your Apple subscription now. You don't need a
Mm-hmm.
separate subscription for the MLS. So if you're a listener and haven't been getting that in the past, it's definitely a great value. I mean, Apple has F1 now too. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of things you get with that. So
You can watch
definitely worth
Severance,
to be able to
you
watch
can,
every single MLS game.
what other good
Yeah.
Apple shows are there?
Yeah.
I'm trying to sell you.
Uh,
That might be
uh,
it. But oh,
no, they
Ted
have
Lasso. You got Ted Lasso.
Shrinking. Shrinking's great.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, so good. You want to cry? Go watch Shrinking.
I don't really want to cry.
Not like it's a comedy, but
Oh, okay.
it's gonna
Gotcha.
it's Ted
Feel
Lasso.
good.
It's a Ted
Okay.
Lasso
I
like
see. I
it's
see.
like funny, but it's gonna have emotional moments in it
Gotcha.
with a story in it.
And they'll get
So great.
MLB too soon too. So it's
Yeah,
all.
it's a great value buy.
It'd be a good. Yeah, it could be a good spot to be.
Yep. Now into the late games for Eastern time, folks. On Saturday, we've got Portland at home versus Columbus. Really interesting one here because I'm not super high in Portland this year, but Columbus is now first game with a new coach, and I think what's going in their favor is it's a lot of returning players, so that's a good thing, and they're going to know how to play together. I just interested in how it's going to work with the coach and how his system works with these players that he inherited for the most part. So I'm going to go Columbus with a win on the road. I really
Wow.
am, and I know that's going against everything I've been picking so far. I just think that I see a scenario where this really hits with Ridstrom and his system. And Abu Ali, we saw very little of because of injury, but when he was on the field, he scored. And I think he's going to be such a big target guy for them here in this 2026. And I could see him scoring a lot of goals this year.
This is an interesting one. I mean, MLS Cup 2016 rematch. So everything's on the
No
line here.
Nagby to be present for
Yeah,
the
that's true. I
the
think that is a
dual.
big thing. And we should have brought that up in the season preview, last
Yeah,
episode is that, I mean, the big
it's a big
difference
void.
is the coach, but you have a Nagby size hole in this midfield now, and who's
Mm-hmm.
filling that? And, easily one of the most underrated players in the league. Nagby was. It's going to be interesting to see how all that comes together. On the other hand, I do think that I understand what Portland is, and I'll go ahead and eat these words come next week. But I feel like I understand a lot more about what Portland is right now, how they want to play, who's going to be playing where, versus Columbus right now, where there's a lot more unknowns. And that means for this game specifically, I think Columbus's ceiling is pretty high, but their floor is pretty low too. So I'm gonna play it safe on this one. I'm gonna pick Portland at home. But this is one you could show me any score line and I'd believe you. I'd say.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I don't really know what's going to come of this game. The next leg game we have here is San Diego at home versus Montreal. I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on this one, Tony. I think this one can get really ugly.
Touchdown.
And I think it has to do with the fact that San Diego's played in competitive games already, on top of everything, like against a great Puma side and looked good and scored goals. And now you're going to go against a Montreal side that is not strong defensively. And this is the touchdown watch game. I will be honest with you. Like, I think this one's probably, I'm not going to be super disrespectful. I think it's going to be like a 3-0, and San Diego's going to be on cruise control. I want to see how much they rotate with the Champions Cup going on and how that affects their squad. I don't think it really matters though. I think they're good in that system. They're going to dominate this game.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I don't think there's going to be rotation for San Diego. They're kind of. I mean, they had the advantage or disadvantage, depending on how you look at it, being the early round for CONCACAF. So they're kind of well removed from that, rested up from that. Their next game is hosting St. Louis next weekend. So they have a week in between games here too, as well. I'm not sure that they're too worried about that. All that being said, I think that I can see that 3-0. I could also see, and San Diego's had a tendency of doing this a little bit, just playing with their food sometimes on some of these opponents. So maybe this one ends up being like a 1 goal difference that, maybe San Diego fans would be a little frustrated about. But I think this ultimately ends San Diego's way. And it's just a matter of, from Montreal, I mean, what are they going to throw at you? You know it's Prince Owusu. If you give up a pen, that's automatically a goal. Sorry about it, but that's just what it is. And Ivan Jaime, he's an unknown quantity at the 10 for Montreal too. He's got a good pedigree. We didn't get to see a lot of him as a midseason transfer last year. I don't know. Maybe he throws a little curveball in there too, so it's not 3-0, it's 3-1. There's stuff like that where I look at this and say, okay, I can convince myself in this not being a multi-goal margin game, but I still think it's San Diego pretty handily.
Yeah, this feels like the game that could get a notification in like fourth minute that Montreal scored, and you're like, wait,
Oh, there you
what?
go.
And then it
Yeah,
still ends like 3-1, and you're
right.
just gonna be like, that was a fun like 15 minutes
We thought,
of
we
like
did
Montreal
think.
winning.
Yeah.
Um, okay, Tony, we're moving into the next one. This one's significant because this one is the MLS Sicko game of the week declaration here. We have got San Jose at home versus Sporting Kansas City, and dear Lord, what were they cooking up for the late night game,
Mm.
week one? Um, I think for my San Jose prediction, this is great. I think they're going to win this game, and I think they have the ability to score a couple goals here and maybe make Timo Werner look good early on. I think this more just has to do with Kansas City and who's on their team right now. And we talked about it in the last week or Tuesday episode. We're just concerned with who's going to be on the field for Kansas City, I mean, you might see a Jovic goal in this one, and that's why I'm going to go with the 2-1 score line for San Jose.
Yeah, I mean, I think both teams to score here is pretty easy. San Jose is going to win it. I think that, I mean, again, these are two lower rated teams, but I can trust San Jose offensively, I believe, with Timo Werner, but that's also being optimistic. We've only seen him play like 10 minutes in the last year. So that's the part I'm worried about. That's why I ranked him so low last episode. But let me paint a picture for you. This is how your night could look, okay? So, you've got the day games. You've enjoyed them. They've been great. Even the early night games, the 7:30s roll through. Then you flip on Walmart Super Showdown, sponsored by Home Depot and Rocket Mortgage. And then
I love that you've
as
thrown a different sponsor on every single time.
and then as soon as that game ends, you say, "Oh, there's still another MLS game on. What is this San Jose versus Sporting Kansas City? How come it's 2-2 right now?" And you watch the last 15 minutes. Sporting Kansas City goes up, make it 3-2, and then San Jose scores 2 goals and just hard gut punching 4-3 win, completes a beautiful week one. That's what's in store here. I think that the gates are going to let out from LAFC Miami, and the sickos are still going to be crawling around, seeing if they can scoop up anything left. This is what you got. I don't know. I feel like this has just got like possibility of being game of the year just for no
Yeah.
reason like at all.
Yeah, it does. That's why it's the sicko game.
Yeah.
This being at nighttime with these two teams, you never know what you're going to get. I can guarantee you one thing: I will not be awake watching this game at 3:30 in the morning in London.
Yeah.
That's one thing I can guarantee.
Well, that's your choice. And
the FOTMOB
yeah.
notifications I will wake up to in the middle of the night, because
Like,
I'm going to get
Lord.
7 straight buzzes because they all scored right at the exact moment. Will be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, let's move into Sunday. We've got 2 games on the Sunday slate here. 2 solid games. We've got LA Galaxy at home versus NYCFC. I think this is the perfect game for Galaxy to really start the year off right. You're getting a team that has to go across the country to come play in LA on Sunday, and I think this is going to be a new look LA team, and I think vibes wise, you're hoping for like a João Klaus goal early in the year. You get Peck and Payne still involved somehow, and it looks good. And I think this NYCFC team, missing a couple of people like I've talked about that have me a little bit down on them, and having to travel across the country game week 1 is a tough spot for them. So I think Galaxy win this one fairly convincingly. I think it could be like a 2-0, 2-1 scoreline, and Galaxy win this.
The classic hack revenge game here.
Yeah.
So many like week 1 just right off the gate. Hey, you're playing your
That's why I
former
love
team
cash
here.
for dude.
It's
great.
crazy.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think this is the perfect like opening gate here for Galaxy. NYCFC is one of those things that, if anything, we've learned from over the past few years with them is I think that even with their roster builds and how their seasons kind of go, is that they kind of tend to build the plane as they're flying it. That being said, it does lead to some cold starts. And nothing better than, a new look Galaxy going against a team that kind of sits like that. And like you said, on travel cross country, I think it makes a lot of sense. So I like your reasoning there. I agree with all of it. And I'm going to tail that too. I'm going to say, LA Galaxy at home.
Yeah. Well, let's close it out here for the previews. And we've got Seattle at home versus Colorado. I think this is going to be Seattle in this one. I don't have like a ton of insight on this one. I just think Seattle is a veteran team mixing with some young guys here. They've experienced week 1 games before. They know how to go into a season and start off well. And I think this Colorado side, there's a lot of question marks. You got a new coach. You've got guys around Paxton Aronson that you're still trying to figure it out. And I think that's a really tough matchup to go to Seattle on the road in your first coaching experience. True head coaching experience for Matt Wells is Seattle on the road, and that can be a tough environment to get even a point from. So I'm going to go Seattle in like a 3-1 fashion in this one.
This is the Josh Atencio revenge game here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's more connected than you think.
I've had
Um,
it circled, of course.
no, this is in my mind. This is coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb. Um,
Oh,
I, I mean, I don't really see a scenario which Colorado wins this. I think Seattle's fresh here. I think I don't know if is Pedro De La Vega back or is he kind of have a long term
I don't know if
injury?
him and Areola are quite back. They're both supposed to be back here early this season.
Yeah, I think he's going to be out. But I still think you got a lot to work with this Seattle team. Like I said, they are a team that just is really strong in depth. I think this is a Colorado team that if they're not operating beyond the sum of their parts, then they're not going to be better than Seattle. And it just seems like that's not very reasonable for what we're going to see week one on the road. So taking Seattle here at home.
Yeah, Dale Valle is out till May or it's till April. So
Okay, it'll be here
another
before you know
season
it.
where he's hurt again. So here
Yeah,
we go.
man, they
I
need him back in
I
the worst
couldn't
way.
imagine being a Seattle fan with him.
Oh my gosh.
I would lose it.
He's
He's
been on
hurt
your
all the
team.
time,
Yeah, he's been on your team for what, 3 or 4
and he
years?
plays good when he plays too.
Yeah. And then he's like, I mean, how many? Okay, now I'm looking it up. How many games he's played as a Seattle
I
Sounder
think
across?
percentage wise, he's probably only played in 35% of the games that he's like actually been signed for. Would be my
Yeah,
guess.
I don't know how to find that, but
Um, okay, well, while you're
yeah,
looking into that, let me preview what we're doing here next. So, if you're a listener from last year, you know we did Stin's picks for fantasy. Fantasy is very different this year. We've talked about it. We're committed to Fantasy United, which is they sponsor us. So we are in their fan zone. That's awesome. We love them for having us be a part of it and part of this journey as they start that up. It's really a three-headed war going on right now between them, SofaScore, and Kickbase, and we're gonna be trying them all. I don't think we're gonna be heavy promoting any fantasy. Like we'll mention it and we'll talk about it more of a talking point. But I don't think we want to be promoting anything until we feel out what all three of these apps
yeah,
are going to be looking like. And I can even see us starting a league in the Kickbase and the Sova Score, maybe like even a couple weeks in. I think we'll make one, but I'm saying we'll promote one that we think is best for everybody to join in, even a little late if you want to be involved. But it is a little bit of an open area. So Stin's picks this year are going to be his choice of what are the top 5 games of the year, top 5 games of the week,
yeah,
and I'm excited because I think he's still gonna. I think it's still gonna look very similar. I think it's gonna be Stin on brand, and he can still do his Nick Hagland 7 names award. And I think he's probably gonna mix it in somehow. But let's go with Stin's picks, Tony, and then we'll give a little reaction to it.
We start in Cincinnati with the Nick Hagland revenge game. The only thing ending up in a hospital bed this time is the same almost wooden spoon Atlanta lineup from last year. Cincy 3, Atlanta 1. Up next, we have two USMNT hopefuls squaring up across the border in Sebastian Berhalter and Diego Luna. Luna shines, MLS Cup runner-ups Burr, Falter. Vancouver 1, RSL 2. We head south where Facundo Torres and James Rodriguez get their first taste of the Kip Keller Bowl. Joseph Rosales leads the defense against his former squad in a 1-0 game. Austin 1, Minnesota 0. Over to the West Coast where the Stars come out to play in LA. Kinda. LAFC and Miami square off. The black and gold take down the wannabe Mr. Stereo best players. LAFC 3, Inter Miami 1. We have a sleepover under the stars in the Griffith Observatory searching for a striker. Can the New York native and Justin Heck actually make a difference alongside former Defensive Player of the Year and Jacob Glesnes? LA Galaxy 2, New York City 2.
all right.
Okay, as you can see, Tony, we're still getting our true Stin's picks.
We
So
are so
whoever,
back.
for Stin's biggest fans out there, we're so back. He had his baby. He's back to doing Stin's picks for us, and I need it every week because the energy he brings and gives me going into a game week is like nobody else. The 5 games you talked about were Cincinnati, Atlanta. He has Cincinnati winning that game. Vancouver, RSL. He has RSL winning that game,
Yeah, that's wild.
and Austin versus Minnesota. Austin winning that game. LAFC beating Miami pretty handily at 3-1, and then Galaxy and NYCFC drawing. to open the season for them. So he'll be picking those games for those who are going to be following his picks. And if you are a gambler type, I my heart goes out to you because I would not follow Stin
Don't.
and with all of
Yeah,
his
don't.
picks and maybe fade what he's got going on. But we will be promoting these. If you go on the socials, we'll be putting his section on our socials as well. So take a look for that. I think it's going to be entertaining to watch him go this season, and we'll make sure to keep track of that record and make sure we're holding him accountable to his picks this year, because I think it's a lot easier to track than fantasy is, and I think he could be in for a rude awakening when we point out what he's been going on for record wise throughout the year.
Finally, we'll put an end to all this madness. But if it's doing so bad, we won't promote it like that because we still want to
Yeah, we'll
keep
just
him on
tell
the
you to do
show.
the opposite.
Yeah, right, exactly. So you'll get either way. At least the one-liners and the creativity, that's always hitting 100%. So we can always count on that, even if the picks maybe aren't that great.
Yeah, yeah. So, Stin, thank you. We appreciate you. And for those on social, be sure to look out for the video version of this, because I think it's fun to snip it and just let people at least experience that from the podcast that want to see what our podcast is all about. That I could imagine seeing that and being like, "What is this podcast?
All
Like,
right, and
what are
then
they
tune
doing?"
in, and it's just two boring white dudes just
Yeah, it's like yeah, RSL, they're looking pretty good.
yeah,
And then
right.
you're like, when did this clip occur on this podcast? So just be on the lookout for that. And Tony, I can't believe we are about to experience game week 1.
We did
And
it.
we're
We made it.
pre-recording this, and we're excited because we're going to be able to maybe watch our team play and then have to wake up to all the notifications on how these games ended. But we'll be there with you guys. We'll be sickos in London watching along. And I'm ready for the MLS season to start. And I'm ready for FC Cincinnati to win a trophy this year.
Maybe.
No, come
I'm
on.
ready
They're
for
in
the season to
contender
start. I'm
category.
ready for the season. No, because as soon as you walk out the gate like, oh yeah, if they're gonna win a trophy, then that just like is the kiss of death for it. So
I'm ready to crash and burn.
see, I
Give me the
set
highs and
myself
lows.
up here and then do that. Except for I did pick them second, so that's tough.
Yeah, you were
But-
higher on them than me. I had him
well,
third.
I mean, kinda. Yes and no. You got to look at the points, though. I did the math. It was infallible.
Yeah, I'm all vibes. We're all vibes over here. Okay, well, we appreciate you guys. Be sure to share the podcast, like it, go to the YouTube. We're on YouTube. If you're watching this on Spotify, you can watch the video version as well. It has been a lot of fun, and we've seen a lot of people start interacting with the podcast more than usual. So we thank you for listening. We welcome you into the community. Make sure to look at the socials for the fantasy information for our leagues. You can join us, and as we figure that out. But we're here to experience week 1. We will be doing only one episode next week. We've got just a Friday episode as after we get back from London, recapping, of course, probably London a little bit, recapping game week 1 and previewing game week 1. So if you are someone who gets bored at work on Friday, be sure to listen to that episode because I think it's going to be a long one. We got a lot to cover. But with that being said, we will see you guys next Friday to talk about week 1 and the week to come.